You had a pātai.
Oh, sure.
I do have a pātai. I want to know if you're willing to share some stories about some of the phases. And one of them was Otani is all about the male. So that is usually when things happen, e te whānau, for our male.
Okay, can you take us through those actions again, please?
Whiro.
Whiro.
Ōwenuku.
Ōwenuku.
Tamatea.
Tamatea.
Mawharu.
Mawharu.
Rākaunui.
Rākaunui.
Nau mai hoki mai e hikama. Ki te poro ka teo tō tātou iwi a te whakatōhia. Nau mai ki tō tātou manuhiri. Kia ruku atu. Kia whakamara mai. Ko ai koe no hea hao o mahi.
Tēnā koe te huanga o tira tātou kei aku whanaunga, kei aku kirihuanga i tēnei rangi nei. Kua hau tēnei, ko Jade Kameta. I tipu mai ahau ki roto i te waka o te aroa, ki roto i a Ngāti Pukiao, ki roto i a Ngāti Whakaue. Hoi anora, no konei anō ki au, no te whakatōhea toku māma me toku pāpa, no Ngāti Ira, no Ngai Tawahaua, Ngāti Rua no hoki. Tira no te whānau āpanui no hoki me Ngāti Parau. Toki mahi, he kai mahi o he oranga whānau, Healthy Families Tai Rāwhiti, Te Aohau Trust, and I'm the Rautaki Māori responsible for underpinning all our initiatives with mātauranga Māori, like the Maramataka, to prevent, to strengthen our health prevention system where we live, where we learn and where we play. So that's pretty much our catchphrase and what we do.
Man, maha o mahi. Nā reira e te whānau, ko tā mātou kaupapa i tēnei rā, ko te Maramataka. And he honore nui ki te noho i tō taha. Just to look, te he o your mātauranga e pāna ki te Maramataka. Nā reira me timata pia. Oh, nau mai, e Donnie.
Thanks.
So, e te whānau, ko Donnie peka tēnei. Donnie, kōrero, ko ai koe?
Ko Donnie peka hau.
No hea koe?
He uri no te whakatōhia.
Ka pai, and you work
for our comms team. And this is my first podcast, so kia ora.
Yes, e te whānau. Engari, ko tō mahi e hāngai ana ki te Maramataka. What do you do when it comes to the Maramataka?
So every morning, well, every day, I am putting out my understanding of the Maramataka and which phase we are in within our organisation.
Ka pai. And this is why you're sitting in this space today.
Love that.
You're welcome. Okay, so we had a pātai. I think I had a pātai. So one of the pātai was when you wake up and you walk out your door, what is the first day you should be looking at?
I think around this time, right now, I think this morning was a dark morning. So the first thing I do is look up, and where I am living at Little Awanui is look up every morning. Every morning, every work morning, I try to get to Opotiki as early as I can. But I wake up around that 5:30 time. 5 o'clock. My wahine and I, we're lucky that our whare is perfectly positioned and our window is perfectly, it's facing east. So we wake up in the morning and look out and ke rera ngā whitu. So I do look east because they on the eastern horizon, they call it heliacal rising, and those looking at east to those whitu that indicate this time, what time of the year, what season we're in. So we have, Tautori, we have Te Kokota, we have Matariki, we have Takurua Pipiri. They're quite high now, and we're already seeing Te Toru Here o Pipiri rising now. We can starting to see a bit lower, which you can see just under Matariki. There are two whitu there. And that is Te Toru Here o Pipiri. Iai kia Te Tohunga Dr. Rangi Mātauma, who has introduced us to those whitu. And you're seeing them now. So tohu ana tēnei wahanga o te tau. another name for this time of the year. So the winter phases that I knew leading into Matariki, which is Mātahi Karipi Wai. That's one name, which is the phase you go into before the rising of Matariki, where you wait for the rising of Matariki, and everyone goes from tangoro to tangoro. Mm-hmm. So Mātahi Karipi Wai, which goes into other phases, and these names were introduced to me by a tohunga named Pāpaririata, no te taitokero, no te arawa no hoki. And those phases are Wiroite Ninihi, which was the first phase of winter, which is around Mātahi Karipi Wai time, where you can see your breath in the air, which is the start. And then we go into Wiroite Kokota, which is the coldest, freezingest time of the year, which referencing the Kokota, which is the Taurus Bullhorn, which is in between, which is in between Tautoru and Matariki. And it's referencing te kokota and how it's pierce your skin. This is the beauty. This is the kwene te ahutahua tō tātou nei reo. It's metaphorical. Metaphorical. He kupu taurite. And it's referencing the kokota piercing your skin, making you so cold. And I believe we're slowly starting to come out of that phase now. Yeah. And there are other phases that come after that, which is Wiroite ahuru, Wiroite ao Māori, and ends with Wiroite whakataka pungarihu. I te mea, mātau e noho ana ki tai. Our phases are obviously different to those who ngā iwi noho ana ki tua whenua. Now, this time of the year, we're seeing wet and muddy. We're seeing last week, we had a beauty week last week. Going back to your question, I might have gone a little bit off, but going back to your question, when waking, first thing to do in the morning, wake up and just take your observation. That's probably the better kupu. Te tiro, to observe and what's in the sky, what's in the land, because we have the benefit of the moana, what's our moana too.
Everything's connected,
ngā mea katoa. If we go back about a couple of weeks ago, back to Tiria, back to Hoata, and if you looked at those crescent marama, it was doing something that doesn't usually happen at this time of the year, that from my observations and since I've been in the space observing our taiao. And what it was doing, it was actually tilting and making a cup shape as opposed, so that's your first crescent moon, Hoata, Tiria, and it's like this. Mm-hmm. And usually during the winter time, it's tipping, which is I associate like the crescent moon with Y. So with Y, so it's like a cup holding the Y in, and then when it tilts, it's tipping Y out, telling us that we're in winter season. But yes, about a week before those crescent moons started showing, yes, we were already in wet and we were in muddy. And Matariki tāpuapua, e tohu ana I tērā wā. And what last week done, or when that first hoata tiria, when those marama were doing, it was actually cupping, which is keeping the water in, indicating that it's going to be dry. And you don't usually see over the years since I've been observing and following the marama, that particular marama always, usually does that during the summertime. But going back a couple of weeks ago, it was actually cupping. And then we followed that. Followed the week after the cupping, we got some beautiful weather. We got some beautiful weather for about a week. And I naina ki te heke mai te ua, and this is the first rainy day that we've had today. So what are these tohu? I can't give a simple answer. I can't get the simple up, but the most simple answer is that me whai tonu. He tohu. It's still giving us a tohu, and ke te tohu ngā tātou taiao, tātou atua Māori. Our atua Māori are still showing us what to do, when we should be doing it. But it's for us to follow these tohu and then make our own interpretation and on what those tohu mean to us and how we should be responding to those tohu. But I know I've taken us way off the hook, but it's gone a bit hohunu straight away.
Hohunu rawa.
But yeah, going back to the question. Go back to the question. What I do in the morning, because I do take most of my observations in the morning and at night before mua I toku hoki taku moi kia moi mo te pō. So that I do most of my observations in the morning and in the day. Those night observations are important because you reflect back on how your day went. So yeah. Whiu ngā pātai.
Wow. He pātai?
Io kupu, how would you like tell the rangatahi? Because mohua e te o kuhua, they're starting to get into the Maramataka aua āhuatanga. What are the things you would tell them to start off with, Miki?
Kia nei, take small bites. I think from my experience, our tamariki men, ngā tamariki rātau mohi ona ki tō tātou nei ru, but rātau e whakapono ki tō tātou nei ao. They're getting it a lot faster. They're learning a lot faster than now from mātou, our reanga. And what I've found is that with our reanga, and we have to do a lot of decolonising our hinengaro. Our tamariki are already there. I think there's no right or wrong way on where to start. Te mea nui me timata. Te mea nui me timata. When I've been around and supported so many different wānanga and done so many different kauhau, I think just starting with our basic marama, ngā ingoa, starting there, starting simple. What are the names of the marama? What do they look? What does that marama look like?
Yeah.
And just getting them into that notion, and then the world is your oyster.
Go, show us.
Literally, te rangi, te whenua, mua ngā mea katoa, ngā tohi o tō tātou nei tai au.
Whakaatu mai nā āringa mo te marama.
This is one
We're gonna
easy
learn.
way. One easy way of learning marama phases. And tēnei, I have my own way of kupu in the way I articulate it and the way I teach it. But I learned. This was I learned from mihi. I mean, mihi taku whanaunga kia mihi tupu aroha mai no te arawa no te whānau apanui and koia te kaiwhakahaere o tuhi stationery and
Tēnā koe mahi.
ai mihi no kia koe te whanaunga. Yes, I think she's over in the Olympics, and I hope she can advise some of our Olympians, give them some Maramataka wisdom to help win some games or win some medals. We're gone off again.
You've gone off again. Show us the actions.
So it's the action. Ai, if I might, ngā ringa katoa, tēnei ko rākau nui, kōrero mai rākau nui.
Rākau nui.
Start with rākau nui, because whānau apuni starts the marama on rākau nui. So rākau nui.
Rākau nui.
Right hand like this, and if you look at your ringa, it's making the last koromu. So we're in that tangoroa, kōrero mai tangoroa.
Tangaroa.
Hands down like this, kōrero mai whiro.
Whiro.
And left hand up, tamatea.
Tamatea.
Teach 4 more, so kōrero mai rākau nui.
Rākau nui.
You want to put your left hand out so it's sort of around your ear. Kōrero mai kore.
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 Down
Kore
a bit.
kore.
Yep, down a bit. Big tangoroa.
Tangaroa.
Right hand by your right hip. Kōrero mai orongo nui.
Orongo nui.
Whiro.
Whiro.
Left hand by your left hip. Kōrero mai o wenuku.
Oenuku.
Tamatea.
Tamatea.
Mawharu.
Mawharu.
Rākau nui.
Rākau nui.
And that's sort of a simple way to remember the names and also remember the shape of the marama. And of course, when you can get that, and you can start adding different kōrero the kōrero associated to those names, but it's a real just a simple way. I know there's other people coming up with different ways to do it, and I think that's wonderful. That's our real I think a Māori way of remembering.
I like that.
Our mātauranga.
Whiro. Oh.
The pressure. I have a pātai. If you're comfortable sharing, what are your predictions based on this Matariki gone for our next year?
Ka pai. I'll share a little bit. Don't want to share too much because I don't want people to come back to you. Say it. No. This is based on me mihi kātika kia Dr. Rangi Mātāmu. I've sort of taken his model and over the years taken observations of the kāhui o Matariki and compare. You know, when I take observations this year, I compare what they were looking like over the years, and how those predictions in the past have come to fruition over the years. So past data, I think if you look at our weather, we see the weather on the 6 o'clock news. I think they base our weather patterns. They do our weather forecast based on past observations as well. So using that sort of those foundational principles to help predict the future using Matariki. But what stood out for me the most in terms of ngā kāhui whetū o Matariki is that this is the first time I saw tupuarangi bright. It's been quite dim in the past, so this year tupuarangi was bright, and that's telling me that
a lot of rain.
We're going to tupuarangi that a lot of our waipunarangi, yes, but our tupuarangi that our bird life, bird life, and this has also been hopeful as well, that we're going to see an increase of our bird life over the years. Mihi ka tika to all our whānau working in that space.
Yes,
our whānau that are working in that space. So Tupuarangi has never been that bright from my predictions in the past. So that was the thing that stood out for me. And of course, the brightest star amongst the cluster was, again, Matariki. Matariki herself. Tupuarangi, yep, bright. Pūtikawa dim.
Is that good, eh? That's good. Yeah.
Yes. Pūtikawa is dim from my observation. Waitai was bright. Waitai was bright, and so was Waiti. Hiwaiterangi, it's been brighter, but me tonu whai tonu me whai tonu i au whainga kia kaha tātou te whai tonu wa tātou nei anamata, wa tātou nei wawata, wa tātou nei wawata. But yeah, certainly the highlight for this year was Tupuarangi.
Tupuarangi, right.
Ngā mihi mo tērā pātai.
So we're getting in for some bird life.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I love that for our tiaki tai, our boys. Yeah. Now, people, do you rely on the Maramataka?
Do I rely?
When waking up, we look at the Maramataka, we look at the phases of the moon and how it can affect you as a person.
Yep.
Do you...
shuffle on that side. I think there are in terms of you're like I can't just take mahi off any day I want, but and where I live right by the moana. I live right by the moana. I love going fishing, so yeah, I'll be honest. I go days on fishing where I know I'm available, and when I don't catch, I know it's because of the Maramataka. I know it's because of the Maramataka, but I still go because that's my way. That's my oranga. That's my oranga because I love doing it.
Yeah.
I'm mindful of the Maramataka all the time. Yara, ahokoa ngā piki, ahokoa ngā heke. and going back to not having full control over the meetings, over the hui that you have to attend, but going into those hui, I'm always mindful of the Maramataka, and I always have my own plan on how I'm going to enter into those hui and approach and act and talk. I'll be mindful of what I'm going to be keeping in my pocket and what I'm going to be sharing, how I'm going to be influencing while in that hui. But
That's a great answer. Aidon's
I think
a great
that's
answer.
a great answer. It's a great answer.
I have heard with the tangoro phases, and some days, like you said, that it's a bad day for fishing, and it's a oranga for te nuinga o ngā tangata e tata ana ki te moana, but there are times where you do catch on a bad day, on a bad fishing day.
Yep.
But I was also advised that you look at the fish, it's probably skinnier
Smaller.
than a good day of fishing, eh?
Tika.
Yeah.
Tika. Ngā mea katoa, so life on the planet lives their lives by the Maramataka. Atu i a tātou. Yeah, but does that exclude us from the Maramataka? Definitely not.
Yeah.
Maramataka is going to influences us, whether we know about it, whether we're conscious about it or not. It still influences us, but all our decisions based on Maramataka. Ka. But yeah,
That's a hard thing to learn, Maramataka.
Yeah, and I'm still a
And
baby.
to understand it, to really understand it, and to really be in your shoes, like to wake up, it's ko tēnei, i tēnei rangi, you consciously know, and I can't consciously know, so I'm just like, oh, hey, she's beautiful, and carry on. But I would never be able to tell you what moon phase it is,
Speaking
so
of,
how would you get into that phase?
it all comes down to to those basic, the principles, fundamentals of what makes science. It really comes down to observation and experimentation, but it is tō hononga ki tō tātou taiao. It really is your relationship, and those relationships are reciprocal, and going back to being, it's a way of being. It's a way of being. And it's our way of being Māori, and that's how we saw the world. We saw, like, if you're if you're in the Tangoroa's domain, it's a relationship with Tangoroa. So your relationship with Tāne, if you're in Ngāhere, it really is that knowing those atua, having a relationship with those atua, and those atua will show you the way. It will show you the way. In terms of my mahi, I've played a small part in the revitalisation of this movement, Maramataka, and started my journey in Te Aroa, and then came back here, and those environmental domains are obviously different. But during that time, and because my mahi is in Hauora, health prevention, and I've also done my masters in Maramataka and its impact on the health and well-being of our people. In terms of, and there are many examples, but I'll take tēnei kōrero, and this kōrero was by Dr. Ihirangi Heke from Tainui, and he's he toki i reto i te ao Hauora me te mātauranga Māori, and he says that health is and well-being isn't something that we should be pursuing. That health and well-being is but an incidental outcome or incidental consequence of the pursuit of mātauranga Māori. If it makes sense. So, so when someone's pursuing mātauranga Māori, kei reira, ki miorai, you will find oranga in that. And since I've through my masters and the evidence and the evidence, and my rangahau kept complimenting his statement.
Yeah.
Complimenting his statement. And if I go back to, there was one wahine. Oh, you can find my rangahau, my mahi online, Te Heke Ngā Rongo. I made that, the part of that symposium, but that was also my kaupapa.
Cool. Heke ngā orongo.
Te heke ngā orongo.
Te heke ngā orongo.
And you can find it on Healthy Families Ruturu. You can find it on YouTube. And that was a few years ago. So my master's was based on that kaupapa, and which was to evidence mātauranga Māori, or evidence Maramataka as health prevention solutions, or its impact on health and well-being. But in that kaupapa, we had a wahine that came to our kaupapa, our wānanga, to learn, thinking that our Maramataka wānanga was about kai, and that was it. But she came to our wānanga, and little did she know that it was about something much bigger, as we know it, as Maramataka is connected to everything. So what she'd done before she came, she was really mentally, she wasn't in a good space, and she just called it openly to everyone. And she wasn't in a good headspace around that time. She was also on forms of medication around that time to support her for mental wellness around that time. But she came to our wānanga, and katahi takata kapa. She knew what to do, so she left our wānanga, and then she started recalibrating her energy, or her kariaroto, her ups and downs with the Maramataka, and then she realised that that her down days were associated with certain marama, and her up days were associated with other marama. And when she was in that cycle, she goes, oh yes, well, she knows the state these low days are coming, and then she came up with her own self-care plan. Oh yeah, I like doing this, I like doing raranga, I like doing art. So those are the activities that I'm going to do on those low days. And then once she started doing that, little over 3 months, she was off medication. She was well, cool. Yeah. So to me, that is an example that supports that statement around.
I think most of us naturally do that, though, right? I think we naturally are in tuned. We just don't realise it. And we're already doing what we need to do that's aligning us with the Maramataka. Like for me, for example, my mood swings are opposite to what everybody else is when it comes to the Maramataka. But I don't know if that's just a me thing or
It's a you thing.
It's a me thing.
It's a you thing.
But now that you said that, without even realising it or recognising what the Maramataka is, people are already in tune of what they're up to for that day, even when, or during the week, you know. Well, that's what I've noticed based on what you've just said. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I've noticed a few people that actually do that, but are not aware of the Maramataka at the time. Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, another way of looking at the Maramataka, and we look at, you know, Fido, for example, and if we look at his characteristics, hara i te atua pai. And how often does he come in? Once a month. And we now our mātauranga, it starts to normalise that we do go through trial, that we do go through error, and there are tough, you know, there are tough days, and we're all going to experience that. But there are also good days, and also teaches us that not every phase lasts forever. But that's life. That's life, and we have to ride that wave.
Well, have you got another partai? We're just soaking it all in.
Yeah.
Soaking it all in. Do you know what moon you were born on? And does it reflect you as a person?
Actually, I can't remember. What day was I born? That's a good one. Actually, that's a question that I'm going to revisit.
Revisit. What about you, Dons?
I was going to say, why don't you share yours? Because you know.
No, I don't actually.
Rako
I do
Mātori.
know. Yeah, Rako Mātori, that's right.
Yes.
I was enlightened about that.
I remember going back. Going back and researching it straight away when I first started getting into this kaupapa back in 2016. Roughly about that time.
Quick,
and that's how long I've been like steeped in this mātauranga.
Only 8 years.
Only 8 years, but when I actually was immersed myself in the kaupapa. But prior to that, it was always there. It was always there. It just around that time I met Papa Ririata and a lot of other practitioners doing some awesome stuff in this space. But it resonated. But I'd like to share. When my passion for this kaupapa actually started. It started long ago for my passion and my love for our Māori. But in terms of Maramataka itself, I grew up in Ngā Roto, ki aku Waikarikari o te roto I tiki te ai hinga. And I was fortunate to be a part of the Kohangareo movement and grew up in the Kurukapapa Māori movement. But I was actually at my, when I was growing up, I was fortunate to meet my great koro te toiroa. And he's, every time it rained, he would never say anything about the word rain or anything. He would always just refer straight to ranginui, straight to our atua Māori. So those atua Māori were introduced to me before I, before I kohanga, but from a real young age, before I started kura. Again, I learnt the creation story that was shared to me by my koro haiata, but my mum's father on my mother's side. So he would always share these kōrero, these pūrākau with us. So that's where it actually started. And when I went to kura, and I'll still remember this, and the people around my age, around my age would know this, because the first, our rumatahi, that's what it was. That's literally what it was called, rumatahi, for us 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. And
we got a rumatahi.
In our class, I think it was painted by our seniors of our kura, but right across our wall was the paintings of the creation story. So what my koro on my father's side, my koro on my mother's side was actually feeding me all these pūrākau. I instantly made connection, and there was a visual there, and it instilled this belief in the taiao. I already started making those Māori connections to our taiao right from the get-go. Right from there. I grew up in a place where, a certain season, you'll get ramakaura, all our freshwater hua. Yeah. Certain seasons that will, te traute. I won't share our methods into how we get those trout, but hoi anō, that was seasonal. And also, I'm not a mahi kai person, I'm not a hunter, but I do love my fishing, I'm more of a tangaroa person. But I do have hunters and gatherers within my whānau that ask me, when they go hunting, they ask me what they were on, and I give them my advice, and yes, it continues, the Maramataka continues to grow, but to prove teach. And to teach and to prove that it works. But when my brother and my cousins do come back, but nothing, I'll still come tell them again the same answer. Is that bro, they're there, bro. Yeah. They're still there.
Yeah, get off your horse. Hey, get off your horse and walk. You had a pātai.
Oh, sure.
I do have a pātai. I want to know if you're willing to share some stories. So we had something shared with us. Are we mentioning names?
No.
Okay, we're not mentioning names. About some of the phases. And one of them was Otani is all about the male. So that is usually when things happen, e te whānau, for our male. And then the next phase is orongonui, which means everyone's going to hear about it. And then after that, omotu means it's all done. Done and dusted. We've done our jobs, ladies. Anyways, I want to know what stories you have around some of our phases, or some of the phases that are there. Not the, I don't want to say serious ones, but those ones. Like, I want to know the kōrero that you used to hear that used to make people laugh.
Oh,
It's all real on here, I'll tell you.
Yeah. If you go back to those phases, all Otani be about more about the male energy and male presence. But for me, sorry, I'm not being not a funny person. But
that's okay.
boring. I'm
That's
boring.
okay.
But I always just go back to the atua in terms of Tāne. He, Tāne nui arangi, he has Tāne Tikitiki orangi, and he has many different names. But, Tāne himself was responsible for climbing the heavens to Te Tihi o Mananono to retrieve the three baskets of knowledge and bringing them down to us, Teira Tangata. So, those for that particular time, and we're going to that time on Thursday, I believe, Otani.
Otani?
Yeah,
Are we?
Thursday. Yeah.
Check up
Otani,
on your men.
right around these, Otani, and to me, it's about the pursuit of mātauranga. The pursuit of mātauranga around that particular time. Oh, we should be pursuing mātauranga every day, but that's an optimal time for me. So when it comes to the tāne wahine side of things, I think our tāne in the pursuit of mātauranga, it's about pursuing the right mātauranga or whatever the kaupapa you're doing, whatever initially.
At the time, yeah.
At the time. So the pursuit of mātauranga. I always so for those particular days, I always refer back to what are our pūrākau saying. What are our atua saying?
Yeah.
And
those are important,
those are some beautiful atua.
Yeah.
Tāne, rongo. And then we go into those lower days. Matu whenua, and going to drop into whiro. But yeah, I love your explanation and your story.
What about you, my boy? Have you got any kōrero around Maramataka and your marama e pāna ki te Maramataka?
No, well, at Haka's, like, we have our auntie that normally comes in, and it's we even done a bit of it in our bracket, more so the kōrero about tamatea. Yeah, but I don't have much of a maramatanga about it. More so, still learning around those sides of mātauranga. But yes, we have our auntie that normally comes in and does a whole kōrero, but hey, it's tamariki and the whare at late time hours, we switch off.
Yeah, we're turning our Maramataka off. Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. That was cool. Okay, can you take us through those actions again, please?
We'll start from whiro now.
Whiro.
Yeah. Whiro.
Whiro.
Ōwenuku.
Ōwenuku.
Tamatea.
Tamatea.
Māwharu.
Māwharu.
Rākainui.
Rākainui.
Kore.
Kore.
Tangaroa.
Tangaroa.
Orongonui.
Orongonui.
Whiro.
Whiro.
So just, eight phases, and the actions will help you remember, what phases you're in. Also another way, I also associate different kupu to remember, that's associated to those phases. Kia mama, kia ngāwari.
I like that. Easy to learn. Hey.
Before we close off, though, I do have another pātai.
Pātai, girl, pātai.
I want to know what your favourite phase is and why.
That varies, but always, definitely what we're in now, Tangaroa, going into Otani, which ends in Orongonui. So that whole week, to me, this whole week, and like I mentioned, even though I grew up in Kitua Whenua, I always knew that I had a strong relationship with Tangaroa. And it gives, I see this whole week as opportunities. There's opportunities to pursue, opportunities to act, opportunities to to be intentful and intentful with your actions. So, tangoroa, which also includes Otani and Oranguni.
Massive.
Yeah.
One more. Did you see the moon in Hawaii?
I saw the marama in Hawaii. You get a little bit disorientated from where you are, which way the marama is rising.
Yeah.
Also the whitu. The whitu, our kahui whitu, like the tautori was, upside down different ways. But yes, I did see the marama.
Ka pai.
And they have their kōrero.
Nice. There was one post up on Facebook. Now, I just got enlightened about this the other day. Apparently, the moon was wrong, upside down. Here. Did anyone see that? My good mete told me this. He better not be lying.
Might be. It might maybe similar to what I was referring to.
Yeah, it could be.
About the tilt, because it usually tilts like that, indicating because I associate the crescent marama with weather. You associate the kora, like the tangoroa phases what we're in now, to kai. So that's later kai, and it tips over. Kai is going to be abundant on the whenua or on the moan. But with the crescent marama is telling us that it's tipping way out. But going back to that kōrero, it's maybe it's so similar to what I'm saying, that it was actually cupping, telling that which you only get to during the beginning of the year, dry season. But it was like that. It was like that. Hoata tiria was like that. It's like that's very unusual, especially for this time of the year. But what followed that is that we had almost a week or almost 2 weeks worth of fine weather.
So it was a good time.
We did, yeah.
He tohu pai. Cool. Cool.
How do you navigate that space though? When there's so many people that have different understandings of Maramataka, how do you navigate that space?
I just love being in all kinds of spaces, but it comes to a point where you have to bring it in and make it be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, and navigate your mahi and keep it close to the mahi that you're doing every day. Me whai ki te mea, ki te karango o tō ngākau e hia ana. And atu i tēnei, i tēnei mā tonu. I do hope to carry on and pursue my my PhD in this space. But the difficult challenge for me is, again, because Maramataka, you can apply it anywhere, you can go anywhere with it. It's just reining it into to something simple to study my direction in terms of my PhD. That's where, that's been my challenge, and I hope to start there next year. But in terms of Maramataka in general, kei hia te anamata moku, where do I want to see Maramataka? I hope to see it so normalised and so and embedded everywhere. As part of our mahi with healthy families, is that we want to embed not only Maramataka but our mātauranga Māori, because we know that mātauranga Māori is wellness. Our mātauranga Māori is wellness. Maramataka is wellness. And all the other facets of our culture. Kapahaka, ngā mahi toi katoa. Everything in our Māori is oranga and is wellness and is hauora for mo tātou te iwi Māori, mo tātou katoa. But we know that needs to grow. But in terms of Maramataka, I'd like to say Maramataka so normalised and embedded everywhere, that it becomes the normal thing for our reanga. But the tohu of our wellness, I like to see our stats change, our health and environmental stats just change good. E tohu ana i te oranga o te Maramataka, o te tātou, o te Maramataka Māori, mo te Maramataka Māori, mo te oranga no hoki mo tō tātou mātauranga. Kōrero tuku iho.
Beautiful. He kape whakakape? Wow, atu I tēnā e te whānau. Whoa, that was an overload and a half. But e mihi ana ki a koe, e te rangatira mo tō mātauranga. E pāna ki tā mātou Maramataka. E mihi anō ki a koe, Dons. You
Thanks,
come and
Taka.
sit in with us.
Thanks.
And love that for you. Anō nei ki a koe taku ira matu. E hara tēnei tō poroka te whakamutunga, kei te hoki mai koe, i te taha o Aunty Ria, i te kaumā iwa o here turi kōka. Ka pai. Nā reira e mihi ana ki a koutou katoa, o tira nā tangata i taimai i tēnei rā. Hei kōrero, e pāna ki nā kaupapa katoa e hāngai ana ki a mātou nā ngai Māori. Nā reira e mihi ana ki a koe. He taku whanaunga he koha mai a mātou ki a koe. Ka pai. Atu i tēnā, titiro ki te kāmera, mahi tō pūkana. Ka wai, tōru, rua, tahi, tīwata. Hei koe nā noho. Thank you, Makazi.